Due to a personal health issue, Norah O'Donnell has announced her departure from CBS Evening News after a distinguished term. After receiving a diagnosis of melanoma, a severe type of skin cancer, she's decided to put her family and health first during this trying time. A landmark decision in broadcast news, Norah is well known for her steadfast dedication to journalism and commanding presence on screen. We'll look at the effects of her condition, her contributions to journalism, and what this renowned anchor's future holds as we dig deeper into her journey. Celebrate Norah O'Donnell's incredible career and her valiant fight against terrible illness. Early life and education. Norah Morahan O'Donnell was born in Washington, D.C. on January 23, 1974, and was raised in a strict military family. Francis Lawrence O'Donnell, her father, was a U.S. Army officer. Her mother, Noreen Bernadette, was a doctor. Norah's father's work required her to move around as a child, exposing her to various cultures. Her family moved to San Antonio, Texas when she was 3 years old, and then to Seoul, South Korea for 2 years. Interestingly, she recorded English courses for Korean students there for her first broadcasting experience. She returned to Texas and did exceptionally well academically at Douglas MacArthur High School. Her next destination was Georgetown University, where she studied philosophy, which helped her develop her analytical skills. Later, in 2003, she graduated with a Master of Arts in Liberal Studies. Early exposure to different cultures and military discipline greatly influenced Norah's development as a journalist with an excellent work ethic and an eye for detail. Launching a journalism career. Norah O'Donnell started her journalism career as a staff writer covering Congress for the Capitol Hill Daily Roll Call. As part of her job, she had to break down intricate legislative procedures so readers could understand politics. Norah developed her capacity to dissect complex legislation while covering topics like campaign finance reform and influential politicians. She gained a thorough awareness of political dynamics from this early experience, which would be helpful in broadcast journalism. NBC News saw her promise and was impressed by her astute reporting and ability to pose challenging questions. She's noteworthy because of her early work, which concentrated on investigative and explanatory journalism. While many new journalists found it difficult to get started, Norah advanced swiftly thanks to her perseverance and analytical abilities. This opportunity at Roll Call facilitated her entry into national political journalism, which laid the groundwork for a career in political reporting distinguished by depth and trustworthiness. Rising through NBC's ranks. Norah had a life-changing experience at NBC News where she demonstrated her versatility as a journalist. She worked as a White House correspondent for NBC, a contributor to The Today Show, and the chief Washington correspondent for MSNBC. Her reputation as a perceptive and knowledgeable journalist was cemented by her coverage of significant political events, such as international summits and presidential campaigns. She offered real-time analysis throughout the 2008 presidential election, precisely analyzing voter trends and policy consequences. Her in-depth interviews with people like First Lady Laura Bush and then-President George W. Bush were among the highlights of her tenure at NBC. She stands out in a crowded field thanks to her ability to pose challenging yet fair questions. Norah also traveled to the area to report directly on international events, including the Iraq War. She became a respected voice in American journalism because of her unafraid reporting and skill at converting intricate political events into understandable, captivating stories. Transition to CBS News. Norah O'Donnell made a significant career decision in 2011 when she became the chief White House correspondent for CBS News. Due to this change, she could cover substantial stories from inside the White House and assume more critical roles in political journalism. Her keen questioning under President Obama's administration, when she frequently challenged officials on essential topics like foreign policy and healthcare, was one of her most notable moments. Her in-depth coverage of the 2012 presidential election gave viewers unmatched access to information about voter behavior and campaign tactics. Notably, she demonstrated her capacity to remain composed under duress by significantly moderating political debates. She also broadened her influence at CBS by making noteworthy contributions as a stand-in host on Face the Nation. She had established herself as one of the most reputable political journalists in the business. So her transfer to CBS was more than just a promotion, it was a statement. Her ability to analyze policy and conduct frank interviews increased CBS News' reputation. Co-anchor of CBS This Morning. In 2012, Norah O'Donnell joined Charlie Rose and Gayle King as co-anchors of CBS This Morning due to her reliability as a journalist. She was able to cover a variety of breaking news, investigative, and human interest issues in this role, moving beyond politics. Then, Vice President Joe Biden gave her one of her most noteworthy interviews during this period, in which he talked candidly about his political outlook and family. She's reported on significant world events, including the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting and the Boston Marathon bombing, offering sympathetic narratives and in-depth analysis. Norah's ability to strike a mix between serious news and captivating feature stories made her stand out. She contributed to the show's increased legitimacy and viewership by providing a more somber substitute for conventional morning news shows. She also became well known for her efforts to promote gender equality by regularly covering topics that impact women in the workplace. She became a journalist who could move fluidly between challenging political interviews and gripping human stories during her time at CBS This Morning. Anchoring CBS Evening News. While Norah O'Donnell was appointed managing editor and anchor of CBS Evening News in 2019, she broke a significant glass ceiling. She became one of the few women to occupy this esteemed role. Her tenure occurred during a pivotal period in journalism when public confidence in the media was being challenged. Her emphasis on frank investigative journalism made an impression right away. Under her direction, CBS Evening News began airing exclusive stories about issues like government accountability and cases of military sexual assault. During the COVID-19 pandemic, she conducted crucial interviews with international leaders and public health professionals to ensure the public was given accurate information. This was one of her defining moments. She also provided fair coverage of the 2020 U.S. presidential election in an agitated atmosphere. In addition to delivering the news, she offered a new viewpoint by stressing openness in reporting. Norah's selection served as a reminder of the value of credibility in broadcast journalism and established her as a reliable source in emergencies. Health challenges and advocacy. When Norah O'Donnell received a diagnosis of melanoma, a severe and potentially fatal kind of skin cancer in 2017, she was presented with a highly personal battle. She became an active advocate for skin cancer awareness after receiving this diagnosis, which served as a wake-up call. She talked candidly about her experience, stressing the value of routine skin exams and early detection. Many people were motivated to take charge of their health care because of her courage to discuss her health issues on national television. Additionally, Norah interviewed medical professionals on the newest therapies and ways to prevent skin cancer using her platform. Her activism encouraged people to take sun safety seriously, which resulted in more awareness efforts. She supports public health programs despite her struggle, proving that her influence goes beyond the media. Her story demonstrated the value of leveraging one's position for social good and showed that even the most tenacious journalists may use their struggles to inspire and educate others. Personal life and marriage. A significant factor in Norah O'Donnell's career outside of the newsroom has been her personal life. During her first week at Georgetown University, she met her husband, Jeff Tracy, and they became close since they had similar goals and aspirations. They got married in 2001 after their love took off. Renowned restaurateur and chef Jeff is the brains behind several prosperous eateries, including Chef Jeff's in Washington, D.C. staple. The couple has remained close despite their rigorous careers, one in the culinary industry, the other in the spotlight. Norah has frequently discussed how Jeff's steadfast assistance enabled her to handle the demands of journalism, including anchoring primetime news and covering political campaigns. Interestingly, the couple, motivated by their parenting experiences, co-wrote the best-selling cookbook Baby Love – Healthy, Easy, Delicious Meals for Your Baby and Toddler. Their long-lasting marriage demonstrates that love and collaboration can flourish even in high-pressure professions, by balancing professional achievement and personal contentment. Family and motherhood. In addition to their younger daughter, Riley, who was born in 2008, Norah and Jeff are delighted parents to 3 children, twins Henry and Grace, born in 2007. Despite her hard work, Norah has always put her family first and frequently shares unguarded parenting moments with her audience. She's been candid about the difficulties of juggling the demanding schedule of journalism and the upbringing of her 3 children, admitting that she's had times of fatigue and guilt like many working mothers. She has, however, also highlighted how much she loves seeing her kids grow and how much Jeff helps her. It's interesting to note that despite having a military father and moving about a lot, Norah has ensured her kids have a secure home life in Washington, D.C. She usually shares amusing stories about their dinner table conversations, which focus on politics, food, and current affairs. She is accessible to working parents worldwide because she balances breaking news with bedtime stories, demonstrating that even the most well-known journalists face the challenges of parenthood daily. Commitment to journalism. Throughout her decades-long career, Norah O'Donnell's interviewed every sitting U.S. president and covered 6 presidential campaigns, demonstrating her commitment to journalism. She's received numerous Emmy Awards and the admiration of the industry for her unwavering quest for the truth. Norah, well known for her thorough investigation and sharp questioning, has held international leaders responsible while giving the people lucid, fact-based news. Her research on sexual assault in the U.S. military, which sparked actual policy debates in Congress, is one of her career's high points. Her early experiences living overseas offered her a worldview perspective that she brought to her work, which fueled her enthusiasm for journalism. She's always tackled stories with honesty and nuance, whether she's reporting on social justice movements, political upheavals, or combat zones. In an age of fast-paced news cycles and social media conjecture, Norah has demonstrated that reliability and thorough reporting are still crucial by sticking to conventional journalistic ideals despite the changing media landscape. Challenges in the newsroom. Throughout her career, Norah O'Donnell, one of the most identifiable faces in television news, has been subjected to harsh criticism and difficulties. She took over as CBS Evening News' leader when traditional news shows struggled to hold on to viewers as digital media grew in popularity. Thus, it was no easy task. The demands of preserving ratings while upholding journalistic integrity characterized her tenure. Both supporters and detractors of Norah's style offered their opinions, and she was frequently at the forefront of discussions concerning the changing role of anchors. She also had to deal with the intricate dynamics of a newsroom going through significant structural changes, especially after the CBS scandals. She persisted despite the difficulties, making sure the program kept up its dedication to frank journalism. Adding more in-depth articles and exclusive interviews in response to the shifting media landscape strengthened her standing as a reporter who performs well under duress while upholding the highest ethical standards. Impactful interviews. Norah O'Donnell has done some of the most memorable and challenging interviews in contemporary journalism over her career. She's regarded as one of the most reputable interviewers in the field because of her ability to pose straightforward, thoughtful questions. She grilled former President Donald Trump on the administration's response to the COVID-19 outbreak, refusing to allow him to sidestep tough questions. This was one of her most well-known moments. She skillfully handled Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's interactions with the British royal family while eliciting strong, emotional reactions in her interview, which also garnered media attention. In another historic interview, Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, spoke about corporate accountability and privacy issues in the digital era. Norah has a talent for posing queries that viewers want to be addressed, whether she's addressing world leaders, famous people, or regular Americans. She continues to distinguish herself as a journalist who can handle the most difficult subjects with professionalism and composure because of her interviewing technique combines firmness with empathy. Controversies and criticism. Despite her enormous success, Norah O'Donnell has had some controversy in her career. She's one of the few female anchors in a male-dominated field, and she's come under fire for her leadership at CBS Evening News, her interviewing technique, and her alleged conflicts with coworkers. While some reviewers conjecture about her alleged behind-the-scenes conflict with producers, Others contend that her approach was excessively direct or forceful. Under her direction, there were rumors of a problematic newsroom atmosphere and significant employee turnover rates. CBS officials, however, continuously backed her, highlighting her professionalism and dedication to producing high-caliber journalism. Like many well-known journalists, she also encountered political criticism. Some criticized her for being biased, while others applauded her for asking challenging, fact-based questions. Her interview with President Trump, in which she vehemently condemned the practice of his government, was one of the most contentious events of her career. Norah never allowed public opinion to override her journalistic ethics, even in the face of occasional criticism. Instead, she delivered news that had an impact, demonstrating the importance of persistence in the constantly changing media landscape. Breaking barriers for women. Breaking down barriers for women in broadcast journalism is demonstrated by Norah O'Donnell's career. She created history in a traditionally male-dominated field by becoming the second woman, after Katie Couric, to host CBS Evening News alone. Norah has consistently pushed for gender equality since her early days as a Capitol Hill correspondent and her rise to prominence as one of America's most prominent news anchors. She's been candid about the challenges of juggling the demanding demands of network news with being a working mother. She publicly addressed the problem of workplace harassment in journalism in 2017 and urged media organizations to provide safer and more welcoming workplaces as a top priority. She's also encouraged young women journalists to speak up in newsrooms by mentoring several of them. She highlighted the disparities women still encounter in 2021 by hosting a program on the gender wage gap in the media sector. Norah has set the path for the upcoming generation of women in journalism with her advocacy and achievement, demonstrating that talent and tenacity are not gender-specific. The popularity of CBS Evening News. When Norah O'Donnell took over CBS Evening News in 2019, the show's ratings were lower than those of its rivals, NBC's Nightly News and ABC's World News Tonight. Her presence, however, gave the program new authority and legitimacy. Digital engagement has increased due to her emphasis on exclusive interviews and in-depth investigative journalism. Her private interview with President Biden after his election, which drew millions of people, was one of her most memorable moments. Additionally, she advocated for more thorough coverage of healthcare, national security, and climate change, establishing CBS Evening News as a trustworthy information source when media is fragmented. Younger audiences responded favorably to Norah's dedication to storytelling and frank journalism, which increased CBS's audience across various platforms, including social media and streaming services. During some of the most challenging periods in recent history, CBS Evening News has been a reliable news source by modernizing the program while preserving its journalistic integrity. Struggles behind the scenes. Norah O'Donnell suffered much from the glamorous but demanding job of anchoring CBS Evening News. Due to the demanding schedule, there was little opportunity for personal time, which required long hours to produce a flawless broadcast every night. Sources claim that Norah and some CBS executives were at odds behind the scenes about newsroom management and editorial choices. She demanded quality, which some insiders admired, while others said she had a perfectionist leadership style. The ongoing examination also affected public opinion, as changes in ratings further strained her position. According to insiders, leaving the program was not just a professional choice, but also a necessary step for her well-being as her health issues became a bigger problem. Despite these obstacles, she persisted in her dedication to journalism, arriving each night to present the news with dignity and authority. After years in the never-ending news cycle, she ultimately left to prioritize her long-term health and personal life over career disappointments. Norah's final broadcast. Norah O'Donnell and her viewers found her farewell program on CBS Evening News poignant and unforgettable. She took a minute to express her gratitude to her mentors, co-workers, and viewers who had helped her along the way as she bid farewell for the final time. She reflected on her most influential articles, such as her reporting from conflict zones, conversations with foreign leaders, and events that influenced American history. Her parting address was more than just a farewell. It was a forceful declaration of the value of journalism and its associated responsibilities. Colleagues and public personalities acknowledged her contributions to broadcast journalism and voiced their love for her work in the days before her departure. She told the audience that her love for news storytelling will continue in fresh and significant ways, but she did not say what she would do next. A magnificent chapter in her career concluded when the studio crew gave her a standing ovation at the end of the program. Future plans and next steps. By no means does Norah O'Donnell's exit from CBS Evening News signal the end of her career. According to reports, she's already looking into several new possibilities, such as penning a memoir that would include everything from her most difficult interviews to the realities of working in network news. There are also rumors that she might start doing long-form investigative films, something she's always found fascinating. She may start her own podcast or media platform with the growth of digital journalism, offering a forum for in-depth conversations about politics, global issues, and media ethics. According to some industry insiders, she may even become a media executive and mentor the upcoming generation of journalists. One thing is clear, Norah's journalistic voice will endure no matter what she does next. Asking difficult questions has been the foundation of her career, and she'll continue challenging and educating audiences in novel ways. Relationship with colleagues. Throughout her career, Norah O'Donnell has established solid personal ties and gained the respect of numerous journalism colleagues. She formed a dynamic team at CBS News with some of the biggest names in journalism, such as John Dickerson, Anthony Mason, and Gayle King. Many of her colleagues commended her professionalism and dedication despite sporadic allegation of conflicts behind the scenes, particularly about editorial direction and leadership changes. Norah was renowned for fostering a cooperative newsroom atmosphere and establishing high journalistic standards. Her ability to maintain composure under duress, especially during breaking news events, has been mentioned by former coworkers. CBS officials have stressed her role in establishing the network's legitimacy despite sporadic rivalry rumors. Many of her coworkers, including producers and correspondents, showed appreciation and gratitude for her services during her last days at CBS Evening News. Some even gave her credit for fostering chances for female reporters and mentoring aspiring journalists. She had a significant impact behind the scenes, as seen by the noticeable hole left by her departure. Recent health diagnosis. A recent medical diagnosis caused Norah O'Donnell to resign from her position at CBS Evening News, which made headlines. Although the specifics of her illness are yet unknown, people close to her have stated that the choice was reached after giving considerable thought to her family life and general well-being. The difficulties of upholding a prominent career while putting one's health first are highlighted by this announcement. Being an outspoken supporter of wellness and preventive care, Norah's choice is a potent reminder of how crucial it is to pay attention to one's body, even when one is at the pinnacle of achievement. She's proven incredibly resilient throughout her career. Her most recent phase is no different. Both fans and co-workers have shown their support, applauding her bravery for renouncing the challenging profession to concentrate on her recuperation. Not only does her retirement signal the end of an era at CBS Evening News, but it also sets a significant precedent for professionals worldwide and reflects a growing movement where prominent figures emphasize health without stigma. Influence on future journalists. Using her career as a model for success in contemporary broadcasting, Norah O'Donnell has long advocated for young journalists. She frequently gives guest lectures at prestigious journalism institutions such as Georgetown and Columbia University, where she offers her perspective on investigative reporting, media ethics, and the changing news landscape. She's taught numerous young journalists how to operate in a fast-paced field while upholding their integrity through mentorship programs and internships at CBS. One of her main takeaways for aspiring journalists is the significance of thorough investigation. In an era of disinformation, she frequently stresses the importance of confirming sources. Norah has also discussed the value of resilience, drawing on her experiences conquering obstacles in the profession. She's also responded to inquiries on job advancement from students and young reporters on social media. She is an enduring figure in journalism education, since many people currently employed in major newsrooms attribute their growth to her influence. Support from family. Norah O'Donnell has always stressed the value of family, even in the face of the pressures of her profession. Since 2001, she and restaurateur Jeff Tracy have been wed, and the couple has 3 kids together. It's been difficult for Norah to juggle motherhood with a well-known career, but she frequently attributes her stability to her family. Throughout her journey, Jeff has been a pillar of support, publicly applauding her for her perseverance and commitment following her announcement that she was leaving CBS Evening News. Norah regularly posts glimpses of her family life on social media, demonstrating how vital her kids have been in helping to keep her grounded. She's discussed the challenges of missing important family occasions because of job obligations. Still, she's always placed a high value on spending time with her family whenever possible. Her family has supported and encouraged her through significant job changes. She is a role model for many working mothers juggling brutal occupations and raising a family because of her solid support network, which has allowed her to succeed. A goodbye to the audience. A significant chapter in Norah O'Donnell's career ended with her passionate and emotional farewell broadcast on CBS Evening News. She considered the most important topics she had covered, ranging from world crises to presidential elections, as she spoke to the audience for the final time. In her parting speech, she stressed the value of truth, journalistic ethics, and the media's role in influencing public opinion. She sincerely appreciated her mentors, co-workers, and audience for their unwavering support over the years. Longtime fans use social media to express their gratitude, with many recalling her most influential stories. Not only was Norah leaving a news desk, but she was also moving on to the next stage of her career. She reminded viewers that journalism's role in democracy is more critical than ever, as she considered her final show with a message of hope. Despite her departure from CBS, it was obvious that her media voice would not be quieted anytime soon. If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon